حدثنا محمد بن عبيد الله قال حدثنا عبد العزيز بن أبي حازم عن أبيه عن أبي حازم عن سهل بن سعد رضي الله عنه قال
The best way to learn Arabic while in the States. You gotta be hungry. That's the bottom line. You have to be hungry. You can't wait for the knowledge or the Arabic to come to you. You have to pursue it. You gotta be hungry. You gotta have intensity. As far as if you just passive, you're sitting back, taking your time, twiddling your thumbs, inshallah, mashallah, inshallah, then you're never going to get it. And also you got to have your goals laid out in front of you. More Arabic that you learn in America, the less Arabic you have to study while here. Or, because obviously like you just asked me, Arabic is a lifetime study. But the basic way of speaking, reading, writing, there's always sciences to learn, poetry, etc. But you get the point I'm trying to make. So the less focus that you have on Arabic here, the more focus there is on tafsir and fiqh and hadith and seerah. The stronger you are in Arabic, the easier it is for you to study by yourself and learn from the scholars, learn from the books, memorize, etc. So Arabic is key. If you want to, one of the things I got from leadership, Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen's biography is that he took shortcuts in his studies. If you read, he would study in the summertime. He would do different courses at once. Yani, that way he could take a shortcut. So many people, they think go the long way all of the time. Nah. So that's what I wanted to do. I learned Arabic on the streets of Philly, alhamdulillah. So when I came here, I could learn other things, memorize other things, etc. So that's number one, is hunger. Number two is that you have to stay consistent. You can't start and stop, and that's probably the biggest problem with people learning Arabic. Start a program, start a class, they sit in the class, and then they give up and they quit. And it's so bad that when somebody comes to me, they say, teach me hadith or do this, and that, I'm expecting them to stop and quit. I'm saying in my head, I'll get this guy a week. I get this guy 2 weeks. I get this guy a month, unfortunately. And then some people that you feel, you warn them against that. Don't stop, no matter what you do. Even if you don't study with me no more, that's fine. But don't give up. You have to stay at it. Point number three is that you gotta, in the nighttime, you gotta realize that you're at a disadvantage living in a land in which that isn't the language that you're learning. So you gotta work extra hard. So get a good course, get a good teacher, get a good book, get a good curriculum, and stay consistent. And practice makes perfect. You gotta practice reading, you gotta practice writing, you gotta practice speaking, you gotta sharpen your ears. Listen to a lot of Arabic, and when your ears become sharp, inshallah a long time.
Can you get by just knowing Fusha though? Are people gonna understand you?
Here, for sure. Okay. You don't have to learn the slang. You can always get somebody to speak to someone who doesn't. Most people, even if they can't speak the Fusha, they'll understand it. Okay. You understand? Yeah, you can get by, inshallah. But that's the thing though, like, you getting ripped off, you getting overpriced, somebody making fun of you, calling you a bad name, this and that, that's all a part of the experience. It's all a part of the experience. And I was watching a video somebody sent me the other day on Instagram about idol warriors. You know what an idol warrior is?
Idol warrior?
An idol warrior.
Yeah, like idol.
Okay, they sent me a video about people in New York City that were making 6 figures by recording buses and trucks idling.
Oh yeah, I see that.
You understand?
Bike lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so the guy, he takes a 3-minute video when the people are illegally parked with their engines running with the emissions, right? Yeah. So this is the gym that I got from that video. This is a gym. He said if you want to change people's behavior, hit them in their pockets.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to change people's behavior, you got to hit them in their pockets. So you want to learn Arabic, you tired of getting ripped off, you tired of getting overpriced, sharpen that Arabic though.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story. Ahmed, that's the what? The gym. You understand?
Yeah.
Not the mood, you understand? Wallahu a'lam. To what degree can a person read Islamic books on his own? To a large degree. One of the misconceptions that people have is that many people, they went extreme, in which they got out of the culture of reading books. And I'm gonna keep it real. If you're a student of knowledge, a real student of knowledge, you're supposed to be a nerd and a bookworm. All of that cool hip, this and that, you're supposed to be in the books. You're supposed to keep your nose, keep your eyes, keep your head in the books. So just because you learn with scholars, it doesn't mean you don't read books, you don't read books. Rather, you learn from scholars, you learn from teachers, those who aren't scholars. You read books, you memorize, you listen to tapes, recordings. It's a combined armed element. Combined arms element. Infantry, Navy, Sea, everything. Armed forces, right? Air Force, police. Every check has to be, every box has to be checked. You gotta read, you gotta listen, you gotta memorize, you gotta study with other students. Not just you just sit there with a sheikh and that's it. So that's first and foremost. Now, what you take from those books, what books you read, that's a different story. You only read books, you don't have teachers, that's a what? That's a different story. Your comprehension is weak, and you run off the cliff with something that you read in the book, harming others, their blood, their wealth, their honor, a husband and a wife, that's a different story. But keep your nose in the book. So that's the extent of what you read books. And most importantly, is that if something is confusing or difficult or doesn't make sense or you feel it's weak or whatever, then you go back to your teacher. And I'll tell you this, last thing I'll say. What I've witnessed with my own two eyes is that the student, the bookworm student, will always be more respected by the teacher. The one who brings a question based off of something that he read. Yeah, Sheikh, versus Sheikh, what's the ruling on such and such? And that's it. So the things you learn in the books that you understand, you ask your teacher about. And that's going to combine both. Wallahu a'lam. Jamia Islamiyya, what are the beginning books that you were going over? Well,
quite a long time ago, but do you have any like?
There are no beginning books in Jamia Islamiyya. Jamia Islamiyya is collegiate. So if someone was going to college to study English, they wouldn't be learning hooked on phonics. It's collegiate level. So there's no such thing as beginner for collegiate.
I mean, like what they start you like.
See the cup? Spoon, and empty your cup. Question. You said, what beginner books did you do in Jamia? In the Jamia, there are no beginner's books because it's collegiate Islamic studies. You're supposed to go into college level. Hey, you like sports? What sport you like?
Basketball.
Sports. So if you're playing in March Madness, NCAA, whatever, are you learning high school basketball? Why not?
First time you're doing a 3-man league.
How more? You're supposed to have that training already. Get it? How? Got it? Father.
What advice would you give to a man or woman who's like trying to practice Islam but is constantly like around kuffar?
Constantly around kuffar all day. We're going to discuss that in detail, as he said, inshallah, but in brief right now, I mean, that's an impossible question to answer. It's like being in a pit full of snakes and saying how not to get bit. It's inevitable. Something is going to wear off from them or you. Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah ta'ala, not Ibn al-Qayyim, Ibn al-Jawzi, he said, لَمْ أَرَى شَيْئًا أَدَرَّ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِ مِنْ مُخَالَطَةِ مَنْ لَا يَسْلُهُ. I've never seen something more harmful upon a believer than mixing with someone he isn't supposed to mix with. That's the worst thing. He says, if they're beneath your level, then they're either going to pull you down to their level, and if they don't pull you down, then you're going to become lazy and lethargic by being with them. So just think about that on the sports level. They're not, I'm better than them. They're not that hard working, they don't practice, they don't, take the game as serious as I do. So I'm either going to become a worse player, or I'm not going to really push myself. So that's the concept of being around average Muslims, let alone kuffar. So that's very dangerous. But if you have to be in that situation for whatever work or whatever, you have no choice, then you try your best to leave your imprint and impose your will upon them. You try your best to call them. You try your best to put up those boundaries that they know not to violate, not to talk about, not to disrespect you, if you can't call them, at least. You can't go on the offense, then at least have a strong what? Strong defense. Let the game be a defensive battle. No turnovers. for sure we're not going to play sloppy defense, let alone turn the ball over. Allah knows best. Alhamdulillah. خلاص. تفضل أخي.
Are there any extra benefits of praying in the
Are there any extra benefits of praying in Masjid Quba? There's a hadith that states, and some scholars they share hadith to be sahih. The hadith says, من تطهر في بيته فأتى المسجد قباء فصلى فيه صلاة كان له كأجر عمرة أو كما قال أو كما جاء. Whoever makes a perfect wudu, perfect purification in his home, and it comes to Quba and offers a prayer, any prayer, he'll receive the reward of Umrah. So those are some of the hadiths that are mentioned regarding the fada'il of praying in Masjid Quba. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
Mufti, I got one question.
Fadal, akhi.
Yeah, in your book, The Way of the Disciples, you mentioned that the men disciples should always wear a kufi. So what are the advantages and the rewards of wearing kufi? And if you compare it to if you
You
don't,
mentioned that a student of knowledge should always have his head covered in public.
okay,
Whether that be a kufi, a cap, scarf, turban, what's important is covering the head.
right,
What are some of the advantages? First and foremost is the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ wasn't seen outside in public with his head uncovered, unless obviously he's Hajj or something. Understand? That's what. So you're implementing the sunnah by covering your head. Second of all, in all religions, and even in all cultures and customs, a man covering his head is always deemed as a sign of respect and someone who's demanding awe and veneration. Jews, Christians, all you'll find it all at most. Thirdly is that it is closer to modesty, shyness. And just think about it like this now. Of course, you're doing everything for Allah's sake, but let's not remove ourselves from humans. So I'm out in public, I'm dressed like this, and my nafs calls me to something, or I have a weakness, or I'm feeling whatever. To what extent, how much maneuvering can I make, Ahmed, dressed like this? Even if you're weak, whatever you're trying to do, illegal or haram, they will say, whoa, why can't you? But I ain't got my head covered. I don't have to robe. Robe's not obligatory. Pants not obligatory. Beard's not obligatory. You just fit in like everybody else.